to infinity and beyond.
What's up, everyone? It's Roger and James here from DisKingdom.com with this week's episode of Infinity and Beyond, your weekly Disney video game podcast. And on this week's show, we're going to be talking all about the Beauty and the Beast Disney Infinity figures that got leaked. It has to be one of the last Disney Infinity kind of reveals that we've seen. We're also going to be talking about all the new Doctor Strange content that's coming to the game, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and also a little bit of news on this week's new release, which is the Epic collection for Marvel Pinball. Okay, so James, it's been a good week for you this week?
It's been a good week for watching movies. Got to see Doctor Strange, got to see Hacksaw Ridge, and then also for your special British holiday on November 5th, I watched V for Vendetta, which is all about Guy Fawkes, sort of.
Yeah, no, Doctor Strange is very, very good, isn't it?
Yes, I thought it was a very good movie. It's not my number one Marvel movie, but it's also definitely not near the bottom. So.
Yeah, it's that kind of thing of it. I'm going to say it was really fun, really different. But yeah, I thought that was really good. Now I'm just waiting for Fantastic Beasts. That's the next one on my list to watch.
Fantastic Beasts, and then Rogue One, and Moana, and so many movies this year.
Yeah, because Disney don't need any more money this year. They're doing quite well at the box office. It's that thing where they keep hitting out these press releases. We've done our best year ever. Going, you've still got you still got Rogue One to go and Moana.
Yeah,
it's like we're just gonna keep throwing as many movies out as possible, and we're gonna make tons of money.
As long as they keep the quality up, sure.
Yeah,
the second they start making Star Wars movies for the sake of making Star Wars movies, or Marvel movies for the sake of making Marvel movies, then we'll say otherwise.
Yeah, I definitely feel like they've got to that thing now. They know that if they put some effort in, they're starting to realize that they can actually make money with franchises with each one. And yeah, the little bit of care seems to be making a big difference. Otherwise, you go down the Batman route. Though that Wonder Woman trailer didn't look too bad on the alternative side.
I am cautiously optimistic about Wonder Woman, but we're not here to talk about the competition.
Yeah, we don't
talk about Disney.
We don't talk about them. Yep. So this week, what have you been playing?
I have been playing Skylanders, actually, and some Dragon Quest VIII for my 3DS, and then also a game called Earhart on Steam, which is a top-down twin-stick shooter. Kind of fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've been playing the last episode of Hitman, the Japanese ones. That was a lot of fun. I was playing that for about 3 nights. So I was really enjoying that one. Really hoping now that they'll announce when season 2 starts, because I like my monthly. I've got used to my monthly Hitman fix like the last 6 months. So it's like, oh, that's the end of this year's one. And it's like, oh, that's good. I really enjoyed that game. Really, this week. Is it this week? Yeah, is Watch Dogs 2 is the next one. So I'm going to plan to try and smash out the last of the Lego Dimensions this week before I get a new game. But yeah, I had a couple of days where we went off to see Billy Connolly live. So that was a lot of fun. Did a load of Christmas shopping. Lots of time in a Disney store buying bits and pieces. Walked away with big bags full of stuff, trying to avoid picking up any more merchandise.
Yes, that's the big one.
Yeah, trying to miss that one out. So let's jump into some of today's big news. So I'm going to start off with the Disney Infinity content. So once again, Infinity Adventures, I can never pronounce that right, showed off the last bit of concept art for 2 new characters for Beauty and the Beast, since we got to see the first pictures of them. So you kind of got Belle there, which looks like Emma Watson, and then you've got Beast, which looks like Hank from X-Men.
I actually haven't seen the pictures. That not many people were posting them this time around, which isn't surprising.
Yeah, I feel like this time, I don't know if the Infinity. It does feel like so many people now they've had like 5-6 months to get used to the concept that the game's gone. So this kind of news doesn't quite hit that mark anymore, because I've only seen so many reviews. And I also think, had this been original Beauty and the Beast, we would have seen a bit more of an excitement over it. I think the reaction from people I've seen generally was along the lines of, they didn't want live action. This is exactly what they didn't want, and this is what they've given. And I think that was kind of telltale. I don't know. See, I must admit, I'm not impressed with the actual designs. Hank just looks like Beast. It just doesn't. It just doesn't. I want to say Hank. He just doesn't. I don't know what it is. He just his whole stance doesn't look anything like he did in the animated one. Emma Watts of the Bells version doesn't look as bad. It does look like Belle. She's got the same outfit on. But yeah, personally, I just wasn't blown away with them. I don't know. Maybe again, we're 6 months on, and now it's like, yeah, well, I kind of would have guessed we would have got a Beauty and the Beast figure, and maybe not a play set or something like that. But yeah, I wasn't blown away with them.
I think when we're talking about the Disney figures specifically, not the Marvel or Star Wars, but Disney figures, people want the animated versions of them. We don't want the live-action versions, because what we grew up with, the ones that are burned into our memories, are the animated versions of these characters. Yeah. We saw that with Baloo, with Jungle Book, and people were very happy that we got animated Baloo and not the current Baloo. And I think that people would have preferred to have Belle and Beast that we grew up with. And actually, you look at the live-action Alice in Wonderland figures, I would really have preferred to have the animated characters for those ones.
Yeah, it's for some reason, like I said, Disney had gone in a direction on this. I do believe, I think these are like the last two bits of concept art. I think these were maybe the last of 3.0. That's where I kind of can't help but feel like because if the movie's coming out in March, it would have been a bit much too quick for 3.5 or for the new game. It would have been, it almost feels like this would have been like the big one before kind of ending off that game. But sadly, it's not to be. And like I said, it does feel like now, like a lot of the Disney Infinity fans and stuff, the shops have cleared out. If you do see anything, it's heavily discounted. I haven't seen any figures on the shelf. Well, I haven't seen any for a few weeks now, at least. All the stores but then some of the stores now have seemed to have removed the whole Toys to Life section. It's not just Infinity. Infinity was almost like the end that I was like, right, that's it. Even Lego, it's like we said before, they've cleared out, and I think this was the last two reveals. I think they've been holding out on these until some images from the movie had come out.
That's probably the case, and I think, looking at the current Skylanders, looking at the current Lego Dimensions, I don't think they're selling as well as retailers were hoping, and I suspect that even if the genre doesn't completely die out, because I think there will always be people who want the kind of Toys to Life genre, it's going to be scaled back significantly, and we'll probably get a third year of Lego Dimensions, but it will be like a fraction of what we're seeing in Wave 2.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm feeling like it's like that Fantastic Beasts set that's coming out in a couple of weeks. Can't help but feel if that had just been a traditional video game, they would make a lot more money on it.
I mean, they probably will make it a traditional video game too, or at least a part of another Harry Potter collection, because they've said there's 5 movies coming out. I could definitely see them doing like a trilogy release and then another 2 at the end, and so we'll get a double dip with that, probably.
Oh, or just 5 straight up games 6 months later.
Oh, please no. But yes, probably.
Yes. But there we go. So that was like, it's kind of like the thing of like, we thought we'd seen the last of Disney Infinity news, but no, there was a little bit left at the end with these kind of figures. But I do feel like the whole buzz is, like I said, like my Twitter feed and stuff, and didn't really blow up like they did before. I think there's this kind of thing of like people are like, yeah, whatever, we can't have them. I'm playing something else now.
I didn't even know about it until you wrote down the itinerary for today. I'm like, wait, there was a leak with Beast and Beauty? I had no idea.
I think that pretty much sort of sums it up, really. But definitely want to check out that video over at Infinity Adventures. And see all them. Okay, so a little bit of news. New level actually for Lego Star Wars Force Awakens. The Escape from Starkiller Base was released on all the different platforms as part of the season pass. Fun level. I think that is now that is kind of like the last of our content for that game. I think that's kind of the end of that. I don't think there's any more level packs. I think that's the last stuff of the season pass. It's everything has been announced, has been released. So it was like I was sort of playing through it and going, "Oh, this is the end."
I like what they did with the level packs this time, though. They filled in a lot of those side stories that were cut out of the movie, like this whole snow speeder chase on Starkiller and all that stuff. So
Yeah, I don't. These characters weren't in the movie, were they?
I don't believe so. They might have been written into it and then cut, but yeah.
I just thought it was quite funny having like this Scottish rebel. It was just like, what? It was fun. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice mix of like shooting and sort of stuff. And in some ways, I kind of like the idea that it was just 3 characters because I think it allowed. It didn't really need all that. Like, sometimes there's like too many characters and stuff. So I thought it worked very well. Again, it's kind of like the end of the content for that game. So
yeah. But it makes sense. They want to take the focus away from Force Awakens now and get us focused on Rogue One. Yeah. So, any new content for any new games are going to be Rogue One, at least until the hype starts for 8.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing is what I thought with like at least the season passes. Like the game came out in like June, and here we are like November, and that's kind of the game done now. I do think that the way that sort of they release the game, they wait like 2-3 months, and then they start releasing a pack each week. Kind of keeps that game momentum moving, keeps it in the forefront. You know, hopefully as well, it will do quite well in the run up to Christmas with kids, maybe because now it's discounted. You know, it's a great gift, I would think, for Star Wars fans if you haven't got the game. It's cheap, but also it's a lot of fun. It's a lot cheaper than Lego Dimensions. And I definitely think that there'll be a lot of people picking it. Still seems to be doing very well in the charts. It always seems to be popping up there.
Yes. Lego just consistently sits on the video game charts. They've got some games on there that will just never leave. It's kind of like The Sims, like that.
Yeah.
But again, since we're not getting a Rogue One video game in any form, this will be a good Christmas gift, as you said, for people who want to continue to give Star Wars items, but, you know, there's not much else for them. It's Battlefront or Lego Star Wars. That's pretty much your point.
This is at this point where, you know, it would not surprise me if they either announced a Lego Rogue One new game, maybe end of January, beginning of February with because that's when Marvel Avengers came out last year, or if they go for the June release, they might just be hold it off like they did. Because I just think, you know, we've got an annual Star Wars game. I just think we're going to get an annual Lego game from Star Wars. The thing is with Dimensions where everything gets a bit wobbly, but that's
yeah, Dimensions kind of screws everything up. But I wouldn't be surprised if, like you're saying, they do a Star Wars game every year. They've been kind of alternating between Batman and Marvel titles over on the superheroes, so I can see them doing it with Star Wars.
Yeah, well, you got the Lego Batman story pack for Lego Dimensions in February when the new movie comes out.
Right.
So that kind of, I think these sort of story packs have become the new kind of game kind of thing. I must admit, even I'm going to be picking up that Batman story pack.
Oh yeah, the trailers for that movie have been hilarious.
Yeah,
I can watch the trailers and just laugh like crazy. I don't even see the movie, although I'm going to. It looks great.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, because I watched the Lego movie. I remember watching the Lego movie the first time. I was going, that's all right. Watched it on the plane last month. I was like, oh yeah, this is a lot better than I remembered.
It's kind of sad though. The DC superhero movie that we're looking forward to the most is the Lego one.
Yeah, it'd be a bit more realistic. It'd be more fun.
I just like Will Arnett's take on the character. It's fantastic.
Yeah. I'm Batman. Right, in other bits and pieces of news, Marvel Pinball Epic Collection Volume 1 is out, I think, tomorrow in the US. It's a collection of 10 tables. You've got Doctor Strange, you've got Blade, you've got a whole host of different ones. So if it's discounted, I think it's out in a couple of weeks over here in Europe, so it's a slight delay. But that's kind of that's kind of like the only official release we've really got of any game this month, which is just a sort of a remaster kind of collection. I don't think it's even remasters out they're already out on the PS4. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see this one. I'm expecting it'll be digital as well. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to that one. I'm quite happy to jump in. 10 new tables, discounted price. You can't really go too wrong with that one.
No, can't really. And I mean, I've already got the tables for Xbox, so no reason to pick this up. But just like Lego Star Wars, this will be a great little not quite stocking stuffer item, but an item to help fill out little Timmy or Susie's Christmas list.
Yeah,
fairly easily.
Yeah, I think because I've only got Ant-Man out of all of them, so it means like 9 out of the 10 I haven't got. So therefore, for me, it is a good value. I think if I was bordering on if I had 4 or 5, that's when you start kind of is it cheaper to buy it separately. But nope, that's a good little thing. So I'm expecting that to be kind of something. I will pick up this, but as I said, the European release is a little bit later, so I might not see it just quite as quickly as everybody else. But no, I'm looking forward to that one. As we've sort of said, Doctor Strange has kind of made his big impact this week. He's come to Contest of Champions, so he's now in there along with the Collector. There's a new tournament. There's been some new damage things. They've been adding some solo events, some Avenger events. They've also done a whole host of updates with a new patch and fixed loads of stuff. Like I said, I still think that's such a great game. I think you've got was it Mudu, and you've also got Brother Voodoo as well. He's in there, though I didn't know who he was until I kind of had to do a little bit of googling to work out. Kept seeing all these pictures of him coming through. Even like the Lego Marvel Twitter account suddenly became active when Doctor Strange came out and putting out all these pictures of like Doctor Strange, and everyone's going, well. You can see all these replies going, why are you tweeting? You haven't done anything for 6 months. And then suddenly Doctor Strange pops up.
Well, I mean, you got to get the press out there somehow. Yeah. Doctor Strange has been in the last 2 Lego Marvel games.
Yeah,
so.
It was just this kind of random thing. Also, he was added to Marvel Heroes 2016 in terms of some new costumes. There was also a team up for him, and Moro was added as another team up, and the Invaders from the Dark Dimension. I logged it. Because I was away on Saturday. They were giving away Doctor Strange for free. I got up Sunday morning going, oh, time difference. If logged in, it's like no, missed it. I did not have my computer on Saturday, so I totally missed being able to get him as a free character, which I was like, oh. But no, yeah. So there's definitely. If you're into that there, I think he's been added to all the other games. So, then that's going to be the general theme for the next couple of weeks. I think in a lot of these mobile games, it's just going to be makes a lot of sense. Boost up the movie, get bits and pieces sorted. So that's good content.
Absolutely.
Also, kind of this was from the Electronic Arts. They had an investor call, and they said that a new Star Wars Battlefront is scheduled to release a year from now, which would probably put it into fall of next year. They did announce earlier this year that they're expecting the game to come out between April and December, which is kind of quite a wide release date.
Just a little.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 3/4 of the year.
Yeah. This doesn't really surprise me because they've been working on 3 or 4 different games. I think a lot of us are expecting it to be based on the new era. With Kylo Ren, because this is going to be dropping just around the time of Episode 8 or just before it. So if they chuck in Rey, Finn, chuck on like Jakku and all the different planets and stuff, and then they can just keep adding new DLC throughout of 2018. I can't believe I'm saying 2018.
I know. It could be one of those things. They could focus on the new trilogy, or they could, and what I would kind of prefer is if they covered the entire era from the beginning of prequel number 1 up to Episode 8. And, one of the big things with the first Battlefront was they didn't want you to cross the heroes between the various trilogies and whatnot. And they could definitely, segment them. You can have a battle on Geonosis, and you can only use the Clone Wars era guys, or you can have the Battle of Yavin or whatever.
I think I do, like you say, like maybe go right across all 3 trilogies. Just let everyone have fun with it. Don't tie everybody down into, just because, Darth Maul is taking on Kylo Ren. It doesn't matter. It's just a video game. We don't need to have the laws.
And honestly, a video game is where you do this. This is where you say, who would win, Darth Vader or Darth Maul? Darth Maul or Kylo Ren? The obvious answer is Kylo Ren loses everything, but that's beside the point.
It's like... And I also wonder how they're going to work out like season passes, whether they'll do more content, because I was watching a video the other day, and they were talking about how like companies now are looking at like online play as a major component for video games. That is where they make more money. It's where they keep the players invested, where they spend more money. With a single player experience, we will buy the game once. with online battle play, we buy the game once, we buy the season passes, we buy the expansion passes, you buy, add-ons. They are realizing that, they're now looking at numbers of how many players have we got, every day. Generally, players or the shooting games and these online experiences generate more money after the initial game's been sold, and they make more profit because they don't have the initial launch costs and all the advertising and the physical discs. So EA, they're working on some other games, so I could easily see Battlefront spreading over 2 years again, and covering more movies, and so yeah, I think it would be great if they added some of this content that we've seen in the original game, and then if they add on to it and add those maps of those characters and just add on to it, I think it would help give the idea that there's more value for people, because there's nothing wrong with the levels they've done and the characters, and then you kind of think like, okay, so we move on to Kylo Ren, well, why can't we just have what we had before and just load it in, because I can't see how it's going to look any more prettier.
Right, and well, I'm sure they can find some way of making it prettier with HDR and stuff coming on. Yeah, PS Pro, HDR, all sorts of stuff. But I think this is another reason why they need to make sure that it crosses all of the trilogies, or at least the original trilogy and the new trilogy. Is, if Battlefront is going to be every 2 or 3 years, well, that's going to cross over with the anthology titles, and this would give them an opportunity to include Rogue One, and then I believe Han Solo is the next one after Episode 8. So obviously they're going to want to capitalize on those movies coming out, so it would make sense for them to include Battlefront 2 content with them in the season pass, where, as you're saying, they can make us buy the game 2 or even 3 times. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not expecting any major news on this till probably E3, or just around before it. Maybe at their EA conference they might kind of go off on big, because they'll still be 3-4 months away from release. They wouldn't want to go too early on it. And like you say, we've got the Star Wars Battlefront Ultimate Edition out in a couple of weeks' time. We've got Rogue One. It's going to be interesting what happens, I think, between after Rogue One, after sort of January, whether or not they just slowly just let it roll, or they. I can't see them doing any more season pass or any more content added to it after that.
I mean, there's no point, really. The content's out. They'll not want to further annoy consumers by going, well, all right, you spent $110, assuming you bought it at the beginning, on the season pass and the game, and oh, by the way, here's another expansion that's not included in that price. I think they would rather keep consumers at least a little bit happy and convince them to do this again in 2017 with Battlefront 2.
Yeah, I know they've already kind of pretty much come out and say that they are going to make a proper single player, a little bit more of a single player. I think they realised that there was a big response to the fact that they didn't have that single player experience in the first game. And like I said, it's a fun game. I jump in and out of it here and there, especially when the new content comes out. But I'm not really a big shooting. I like jumping into shoots like now, like the November's a big shooting month. You've got Battlefield 1, Titanfall 2, and then we've got Call of Duty. I've dabbled with them in the past, especially like Call of Duty, but they're not my kind of games. I might pick them up in the sale or something like that, but that's it.
I enjoy the single player components to games like that, and I'm glad to see Titanfall 2 actually has a proper single player. But since I'm not into the multiplayer component, and this is obviously what the companies are concerned about, is I'm not going to spend $60 on these games for 6 or 7 hour campaigns. I'll wait for them to go on sale, which they inevitably will, because Black Friday's right around the corner and Christmas right after that. So yeah, and I can see why for Battlefront 2 they would want to include a single-player campaign, because there were a lot of people like me who did not pick it up because it didn't have it. But the focus is going to be multiplayer, period. Yeah. That's where the money is.
Yeah. So there's, like I say, so Battlefront 2, it's not only Battlefront 2, because it's more like, was it Battlefront 4 really, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, but hey, if they're going to call Battlefield 5 Battlefield 1 and the Xbox 3 becomes Xbox One, then whatever.
It's just slap a number on it. But yeah, that pretty much sort of wraps up all of this week's news. There was a few little bits and pieces, nothing of any major importance. And I think just in general, we are in kind of now, we're into holiday season. The Disney's not really got any major game titles out there. They've got releases from the past year. They're not really pushing them directly. I mean, Battlefront are obviously trying their little push for it. We've got a few like remasters and stuff out. But basically, major news doesn't tend to come out over the next few weeks. Unless, and yeah, I just don't think any company's really in it. I mean, whether or not Warner Brothers do it, but they've got more waves of Lego Dimensions coming out. I mean, and they've also got a new, they've got new Infamous. They've got Injustice. They've got new mobile games with the DC side. So it's difficult to know if we're going to see anything over the coming weeks or months in terms of new releases, because basically Kingdom Hearts is going to dominate the early part of 2017.
I mean, yeah, between 2.8 and then the 1.5, 2.5 remix edition popping onto the PS4. Yeah, Kingdom Hearts has pretty much got the first half of the year locked up.
Yeah. So there we go. So that was kind of like all the news bits and pieces. But so like I said, it's a bit of a shorter episode today. The reason is we are actually going to be recording another episode in a couple of weeks for when James is here in jolly old England, checking out London and Scotland.
Yes, but not your portion of England, unfortunately.
No. Yeah, hundreds of miles away, right up there. And this is that thing of, because I'm going up to London to do literally the few days before Christmas. We're going up there and seeing like a few shows and stuff. So it's that kind of thing, like, yep, nope. This is like trying to get up there is not the easiest thing.
Maybe next year.
Yeah. If you haven't already done so, remember check us out at DisKingdom.com. You can also check out our Infinity and Beyond Facebook group for discussing all things video games. So a big thank you to all of our patrons as well over at patreon.com/DisKingdom. Thank you very much for all of your support. It helps cover things like the audio cover costs for things, and also like licensing and stuff for some of the software that we use for recording bits and pieces like that. So you guys all do contribute to that. So big thank you for that. James, where can they find you?
You can find me on Twitter at VagabondPeak, and also vagabondpeak.com, which will get updated someday, probably after I get back from London and Scotland.
Yes. So there we go. Thank you very much for watching, guys, and we shall see you guys in a later video. Laters.